Welcome to episode 250 of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. Today, we're discussing a realtor who was caught red-handed drinking out of the carton.
What's up, homie?
How's it going?
You thirsty? Would you like something to drink?
I'm good, thank you.
Want some
But
milk?
if I did, I wouldn't drink somebody else's milk
From the carton.
from the carton
and put it back
and put it back.
without their knowledge.
Correct.
And that is what we're talking about today.
What a coincidence.
Article a few weeks ago now came out. There was a video posted on Facebook by Liska Fullerton. Liska Fullerton owns a property in Victoria, BC. It was listed for sale. And another realtor was in her home, not the listing agent, another realtor showing the property,
Right.
and decides to go into her fridge, pull out the milk, drink some of it right from the carton, put it back like nothing happened. Little did Mike Rose know, but he was caught on camera.
It's a shame because it's like, your home, that's like a huge invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
Like for some people, just in general, it's hard for them and very uncomfortable for them to allow people to walk through their home without being there, let alone to find out ridiculous things like this happen.
Natalie doesn't let me drink anything from the carton or the bottle or whatever to put it back ever
I wouldn't even think of doing that nowadays,
at home.
even in my
own house.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't phase. Like I would never think. As a kid, I did it all the time.
Right.
I'd open the fridge, grab a jug of milk, and it was always a jug, not a carton. We'd have the bags.
Yeah.
You drink it, put it back, whatever. I'd get in trouble. My mom would catch me, get mad at me. Adrian, you can't do that. But
I
that's
do
what we
it
did as a
sometimes
kid.
with orange juice. So now I have my own orange juice carton.
Do you really? I
Yeah.
always get a glass and pour it in the glass.
Yeah. Well, in the middle, sometimes I don't know why I get a craving. Maybe it's my body telling me I need some sugar or something. I'll wake up in the middle of the night thirsty. And you're not supposed to drink cold things or whatever in the middle of the night because it starts waking up your organs.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah. So they say, like, when you wake up first thing in the morning, they say the best thing to do is drink a cooler glass of water, and that helps wake up your organs. And wash your face with cold water. It helps revitalize and energize you for the morning. So if you wake up in the middle of the night thirsty, you should only have like a little sip of something to, wet your mouth.
Quench your thirst.
Yeah. But if you actually take a drink of something, your body thinks now you're waking up. Like it's actually
This is too much science
waking
for me.
up your organs. Anyways, so sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I crave orange juice. I don't know why.
That's sorry, the worst
So
thing
I-
because you're getting.
Oh yeah, you're getting sugar and it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult to go back to sleep.
And the point of this though is that you drink it out of the carton.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, stumble over to the fridge at 3:00 in the morning, pour it in a glass, and I don't know. I have my own orange juice. Anyways, this guy's in a stranger's house.
So this was in.
He's a licensed realtor for the past
This is in BC,
30
correct?
years.
I don't know if
Victoria, BC.
You mentioned that.
Mike Rose.
Mike
in
Rose.
the industry for 30 years.
He also I didn't see exactly what it was, but he had some previous instances of
Right. This is like your driving record, but for realtors. And he was fined a couple of grand years ago by not disclosing something about a price reduction with his sellers or whatever. Nothing big like that. No. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Don't really care. The fucking guy drank milk out of somebody's carton in a stranger's home and
now
put it back.
It is normal practice for
Imagine
people to
watching
go
this
to open
video.
your fridge.
Imagine watching this video after you had drank the milk that he drank from. So he had already drank out of it and you have now drank out of it. And then you watch this video. Yeah.
Well, they're, hopefully they win something. In
So
the
this guy
lawsuit.
was caught on a hidden camera somewhere in the house. By the way.
Well, I'm assuming the kitchen. Unless he took the milk.
No, you can see in that photo. I print that. You see, you give me shit for printing things. This is why I print. It shows you exactly where the guy is standing.
In the kitchen.
Yeah, but where's that camera? It looks like it's in a living room or something facing.
No, but he was caught. He was caught from a camera in the kitchen.
Well, he didn't take the carton into the bathroom and drink the milk while...
That's my point. So they had a camera set up with a view of the kitchen.
That's another thing, like etiquette 101.
Yeah.
You know how many realtors I know, like they're taking poops in people's bathrooms?
Real estate agents doing that.
Yeah, well, even people going for showings.
I've asked permission once. I had to go to the washroom.
My clients from a property we sold here in town, they messaged me after an open house, and one of our representatives was there, and apparently when they came home and went to use the washroom, they found
they'd forgotten to flush.
They found something floating.
If your house was listed for sale, would you have a problem with people using the washroom?
So, how long is an average showing? 30 minutes, roughly.
Yeah. Could be less,
could be more, but let's just say on average 30 minutes. You telling me you didn't know you had to pee or poo before, or
say you got 6 houses lined up. You're out for 2-3 hours.
So you stop at a Tim Hortons. You go somewhere public.
I don't think I would have a problem with it.
I ask your wife the same question. I know she would.
I'm not asking my wife. I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have a problem with it. I would maybe like limit it to the powder room. Like if you need to use the washroom, feel free, but only use the powder room.
Right.
Like don't go in my ensuite. Don't go in my kid's bathroom.
Right.
I'd be specific.
Yeah. Yeah. The powder room is generally the room where you want visitors, especially non-family visitors or non-close friend visitors.
Yeah. And I'd even say if males must sit to pee because I don't want their urine
Seriously?
on my floor. Absolutely.
If you did that, I would intentionally stand up.
Yeah. Well, little do you know there's a camera in there.
Oh, fuck. Now you as the homeowner is getting your ass sued.
Yeah. So it was, anyways, a huge violation of privacy. Like I can see why this would really bother.
Hey, warning to realtors and
everyone.
anybody going to see a property. And we said this before, we educate our buyers specifically when we go out and view properties, you are being recorded.
Yeah.
And you don't know, like there's these nanny cams that you could be recorded by the teddy bear that's sitting in the corner of the room. You would never know.
Yeah.
It's their right because it's their home. And I mean, if there was a camera in the bathroom, you would have a whole other discussion. But like this lady that has a camera, clearly, I would think it's set up maybe on a fireplace or something because it looks like it's propped up. Yeah. I mean,
most houses nowadays have them, and we're starting to see them. Like I was in a house out in Tottenham with a client last week, and right in the front foyer on their little console table there, they had a camera in plain sight. And I always tell my clients, be mindful of what you say and do because there's cameras usually. And so we went in, I saw this, and I discreetly said, "Hey, just so you know, there is a camera on the front console."
Little things like this remind me that you could do little things as a listing realtor or as a seller to make the experience of the visitors more pleasant. So this guy claims, I opened the fridge to see if there was a bottle of water, and there wasn't any. So clearly it's a hot day. The guy's really thirsty or whatever.
I don't buy it. He should have just drank from the tap.
Yeah. I've done that. I've actually done that before.
Yeah.
Now from that experience, I always have bottles of water for my clients and for myself. But that's what he says, right? Like I open the fridge. You shouldn't be touching. Yeah, you can open the fridge if it's included with the sale of the home, or you're trying to get it included, whatever. It's a chattel that is commonly included. So you can open it, see if it's working, see, condition of it, whatever. But don't fucking touch people's food. And
no, you shouldn't touch anything in there. I'll always open it because I take a photo of the serial number, model number.
Sure.
But there's no reason to touch anything inside.
Anything that's not included with the home, you should never open or touch. So something like a dresser, I have seen people, even my own clients, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You can't, don't go rummaging through somebody's panty drawer. Like, come on.
Yeah. I've never experienced that. Not that I can remember.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
Well, so this story got me into thinking. I wonder how many other instances there have been recorded of people being caught on camera, real estate agents being caught on camera doing things. So I did a deep dive into it, and fortunately, I didn't find a lot. There were some things, mainly in the U.S., which you'd expect. I mean, there's more people there, so you'd assume there's more instances of articles like this. But I'll go through a few of them. This is a silly one, but this is kind of interesting. So a real estate agent was caught on camera attempting to poison an owl burrow on Marco Island, which is in Florida. So I guess this owl burrow was posing a problem with the sale of this property. So he wanted to kill the owls, which is interesting because people do that all the time. Like waterfront properties, the cottages, they try to make their waterfront nicer by removing plant life, trees, bringing in nice sand, which, all these things you're not supposed to do. So anyway, that was a little story. Then there was another one back to BC in Vancouver. A realtor was caught stealing fruit from a tree. So they went, there's a pear tree in the backyard, and there's a picture of this guy reaching up, taking a pear. But they ended up taking a pear, eating it, spitting out the seeds on the ground, whatever, and then going back to the car, getting a bag, going back to the tree and removing every piece of fruit.
Oh, wow. Okay, you said if he grabs a pear and eats it,
whatever.
Yeah, let him enjoy the pear.
Yeah, he took everything.
Yeah,
and this was the owner of this house, I believe, it was an estate sale, and the mother or this woman was selling the house, and it was her mom's old house. And she took a lot of pride in her garden. And these people just came in and destroyed the garden. So they have it on video, and they contacted the agent and told him, hey, we caught you on camera stealing our fruit. And he said, oh, okay, I'll bring it back. I'm like, well, no,
okay, so I'm gonna call us out here.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that you've done in your career, 13 years now?
Okay.
What is the one thing you've done? Maybe you don't remember, maybe you do. That would be, borderline, is it, or flat out just wrong, or you shouldn't have done, or is there anything that you can think of?
Honestly, I don't think so.
No.
I'm always on the up and up trying to, there's times where, a client of mine used a washroom in a house where I didn't realize until it was too late. But those are like, what the hell are you doing? Like,
so what do you do if a client, so you're walking through a property and your client is walking around, they like the property, and 20 minutes into your showing, the lady says to you, can I use the or whoever, can I use the washroom?
I would call the agent if it was like an emergency. Or it depends if we had time to stop somewhere. Right. Or, and then you call and say, hey, I'm going to be a few minutes late to the next showing, whatever. You try to make accommodations that way. But I think most people are okay with it if you ask. And I think that's the big problem with all this. I bet this guy, if he called and said, hey, because it's mentioned he was on medication, and part of that new medication caused him to be thirsty, and he felt dehydrated. I bet if he called the listing agent and said, hey, I'm at your house, I've got a lineup of 7 showings. Do you mind if I have a glass of milk? I'm really thirsty. They probably would have said yes.
The guy didn't even get a glass, though. That's the point. Like,
well, if you did it properly, like most.
I would maybe want to reach out to Liska Fullerton and find out what her reaction would have been
Right.
if he had got a glass, poured himself some milk, put the carton back, drank the milk, and left the glass even left the glass in the sink or something. Don't even wash the glass. Just
But
let me know.
still not asking permission.
And yes, what her reaction would have been. It would have been like, what the fuck? But not as disgusted. Like, that's disgusting.
I still would have taken the same action. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how that would change things.
Or what about leaving a note? I'm really sorry, I'm on medication. I needed something to drink quickly and had some of your milk.
Yeah.
And leave a $5 gift card for Tim Hortons.
At least clean the glass.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
So there's this pear stealing incident. Then there's this other one, which, you'd expect this comes up often. I mean, there's this couple. I believe they're two real estate agents. I don't have their names handy here, but this is in New Jersey.
You didn't ask me, by the way. I'll let you finish the story.
Yeah, I'll come back to it. Or maybe you can give me your opinion on this, which I think everyone's opinion would be the same. Two New Jersey real estate agents allegedly turned an open house into their private love nest and caught on camera. Apparently, they did this 10 times. And they were caught on camera having sex in this homeowner's property in various locations. Up to 10 times, they believe it happened.
I think that happens a lot more often than people know.
I imagine so.
Especially in vacant properties. And I would, not to call out our friends to the south, but in Florida, like Miami, the coastal properties where it's a more luxurious property. Like, you watch some of these shows selling Sunset. You telling me some of these amazing looking people aren't going to see these amazing properties knowing that nobody's around and aren't throwing a little banging somewhere?
Well, clearly they are.
Yeah. Okay, my story.
Yeah.
I was thinking about,
I was afraid to ask you. I don't want any incriminating, incriminating on record for our team.
Too late now. Nothing incriminating, nothing. Yeah, I mean,
are you reconsidering?
No. I'm thinking about if there were any other things that come to mind. Pre-COVID, things were a little bit more lax with certain things for sure. Now it's a little bit more tied down, although kind of going back to normal. So pre-COVID, I think using washrooms may have been a little bit more lax than they are now. But anyways, my story is actually when I was representing myself, and Natalie and I were driving around, as you know this story. I've said it before. Back, this would have been 8 years ago now. Every Saturday, which was my day off, still is, we would pack up the car at 8 a.m. and go driving up north looking at cottages. And I would set up anywhere from 6 to 12 or 13, I think was the most that we saw in a day. And if we would see less than 6, it's because we had to go and see these properties. They were hot on the list, right? So I remember one day, it was a beautiful, I want to say it was like July summer day. Saturday, sun is shining. We had our picnic packed. Beautiful day. We brought the dog with us.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe borderline for some. We would always carry the dog in the house, but the dog would come in the house with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
Right? Hypoallergenic, small dog, carried him, never touched the ground. But we brought him with us because we didn't want to leave him in the car or outside or whatever. And it's a cottage, so maybe it's a little bit different than your home. I don't know. But anyways, I remember there being one specific property. It was on Perry Sound Island. What is that called? Perry Island? Perry Island?
I don't
know. If you don't know, the island has a lot of beautiful cottages. There's a lot of granite where the cottage is built into the granite and you get beautiful views of Georgian Bay. And the land is leased land. And I didn't know this at the time, right? This is why it's important to have a realtor help you that knows what they're doing. And I didn't care. We were driving around everywhere in Northern Ontario, anywhere from Parry Sound to Haliburton to Minden, even went up North Bay area, Sudbury area, whatever. We wanted to educate ourselves. So every morning we got in the car, 8 a.m. We would stop at La Rose here in town, pack up a bunch of stuff for picnics. So you got some fruit, some waters, some sandwiches, some croissants, whatever. Filled the cooler, and away we go. Every Saturday. It was great. So we went, we saw a couple of cottages, and around lunchtime, when you start getting hungry, we were at a showing, third property, I think it was, for the day. And it was an absolutely beautiful cottage, all kind of timber log inside, a nice vaulted ceiling, beautiful. We would have bought the place if the land was owned.
Mm-hmm.
And off of the main floor was this gorgeous deck. You were elevated by probably 20 feet or so from the water, and you had this amazing panoramic view of the lake. And we had time before the next showing, so I grabbed the...
You ate there?
I grabbed the cooler, and we had our picnic on the deck of this property. Yes, we ate there. We sat in their Muskoka chairs. I busted out all the food.
I don't think you should have done that.
No, probably not. That's why I'm saying this is relevant to this story.
No, if I had cameras, I would have been upset if it was
maybe,
me, the homeowner.
Probably. Now, I'm thinking from my perspective, if or when we sell our cottage, if somebody did that and sat in on the dock, as an example, because at my place, that would be a place you would bust out a lunch and have it. I wouldn't be upset at all. I would be
Well, you don't know who's coming after you. And you don't know if the homeowner's waiting to come home.
I'll clarify. We were still in our showing time.
Okay.
We did not go past our showing time. So this was actually a part of our showing. Does that change your opinion?
No. I don't. If someone's there, their reason for being there is to see the property.
Yeah, we were seeing it how we would.
No. I think if anyone wants to do anything that's not considered normal, which is quite simply just viewing and walking around, they need permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I would think back and say, that's kind of borderline. But like I just said, if that happened to me at my cottage, and we've got cameras, and if I'm watching the cameras and I see them busting out lunch and sitting and enjoying the dock, but they were gone within their showing period, I would be perfectly okay with that.
Well, I think it's inappropriate because you're now using for something other than what was intended, in my opinion.
And me as the seller, who's a realtor's opinion, would be like, oh, they like the space, they like the place, and now they're creating some emotion there, right? Like they're getting some emotional attachment. I don't know. I'd love to hear people's opinion. And this is a cottage. If it happened at a home, totally different.
I don't think it's different.
For me, it's different.
But the point is, it's all subjective and personal.
And we were sitting outside.
Yeah.
And I brought my cooler.
No.
And we just sat there and we had our sandwiches. It was a very nice little picnic. I enjoyed it very much.
If you pulled out a granola bar and ate a granola bar while chatting, I'd be okay with it. But having a full meal? Yeah, no. For me, it's a no.
Well, meal. It's not like I fucking opened their barbecue, grilled a steak, and I'm like, hey, honey, can you go in the kitchen and see if they have any HP sauce?
Still. All right, let's move on because I've got a couple more stories just quickly. These are little ones. Real estate agent caught stealing from homeowners. So this woman was caught stealing medicine, pain pills, and money. I can see that happening a lot.
Attention, listing agents and sellers. Anything of value should be put away where it can't be found. Any medications, any kind of drugs,
valuables,
marijuana, your cigarettes, your booze, get it out. There are people that go to open houses that are professional open house thieves, and you got to be careful of that stuff. And then there are addicts that go around trying to find this stuff.
Yeah. You got to be careful. And the last one is, again, in the States. This is a realtor who was caught on camera stealing women's underwear. So going back to shuffling through drawers of chattels, which are not included.
Or even hampers. How many times you go into a closet and the hamper's there and you got the underwear just hanging out in the hampers?
Some preferred freak is going to get off on that stuff. You got to keep that stuff hidden. Or I think putting cameras up is a great idea. When a long time ago, a good friend of mine put, the cameras weren't readily available then. So he had like a tape recorder of sorts in there recording audio. And I thought that was a neat idea. And we put cameras up at the entrances to the houses, but nothing inside. Although maybe we should change that. I don't know.
I think you get into liability and privacy issues. And
I don't think so.
As a homeowner, I wouldn't want you. I'm surprised our sellers allow us to put the camera on the front porch.
Why?
I don't know.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want strangers watching me come in and out.
Well, that's the whole reason we have it, so people can watch strangers go in and out.
Yeah, but you as my realtor can now watch everything.
Yeah, well, I don't ever go onto it except for watching showings.
Yeah, well, that's what it's intended for.
Well, then
if it's inside the house, that's a little bit much. Like you
if you're doing something inside, then obviously you would need something that was more secure from the perspective of nobody had access to it. I don't know how you would do that. Or
you tell the homeowner to go and buy a fucking camera and monitor it.
Maybe. Maybe. All these stories are in the States, though. The only ones, so there's people having sex, people stealing drugs, people, all these things. And that's in the U.S. The only ones in Canada is people drinking milk and stealing pears.
I bet you.
Canada's not doing so bad.
Stealing pears. I bet you there are more stories of contractors.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that one story we talked about not long ago.
Oh, that was a while ago now. That was 3 years ago. At the Mattamy site?
No. It was a home inspector that was getting off on Tickle Me Elmo.
Oh, right.
That was also in the States.
Tickle Me Elmo was tickling him fancy.
Yes. Yeah. That's a gross. The guy looked like a creep. You know, some people just look at their mugshot and it's like, how did you not know?
Can you imagine if the Tickle Me Elmo jerked this guy off and he put the Tickle Me Elmo back in the kids?
He did.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was gross. But fortunately, he was caught. So, you wonder what happens. It's not.
He was caught. A contractor?
A home inspector.
Home inspector.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the time the story came out where the drywallers at the Mattamy home site there had the stripper come to the house.
Yeah, the video was all over.
Yeah.
Were they specifically drywallers?
I don't remember what they were.
New construction development.
I think they were drywallers.
Maybe.
And they were drinking vodka and pouring it on her boobs and things like that.
In an unfinished house, though.
Unfinished.
Does that make a difference?
They were there to fucking finish it.
Right, but does that make a difference? Is it less bad because at that point it doesn't have the emotional attachment?
Well, as the homeowner, well, you probably wouldn't even know as a homeowner, right? But if I bought that property and found out that happened in there before it was finished, I wouldn't really care.
I wouldn't either.
But from a politically correct standpoint,
right? Ethically,
ethically, and from a business standpoint, like Mattamy Homes, certain or whatever company those guys worked for because they're subcontractors. Yeah, but
rule number one: if you plan on having something like that, don't allow any attendees to have a phone.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like everybody has a recording device on them at all times nowadays.
Yeah.
So you have to be super careful. And there's all these cameras out there. And, if you're in a profession, whatever profession it is, just do things ethically and, be proper with it. And as, and realtors are the ones that go into private homes, private residences more than anybody else, I would assume. I guess contractors as well. So those are the two industries where, you just have to.
Well, and that's why people have to be held accountable. Because if the industry as a whole can't be trusted, then it poses a big problem.
Well, I remember when we were having work done at our home, I think it was our basement was getting finished. So to your point, we allowed the contractors to use our powder room, and we kind of blocked off the rest of the house. So you can access our powder room by just going upstairs and around the corner, kind of like your place.
Yeah, you don't have to enter the rest of the property.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So we had it kind of blocked off, and they used the washroom, and it took a few weeks to finish the basement and everything they were doing. I was disgusted that, they didn't hire a cleaner to come back in and clean it, and they left it in.
It was dirty?
It was really dirty.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, like there was dried piss stain on the sides of the toilet. There was like dust and drywall and paint remnants in the sink because they were washing their hands in there.
Oh, I would have complained.
Yeah, I was not happy. I would have docked I was not fucking
held back
happy.
some money.
Anyway. All right, man. Next week, we're talking about assignment sales, which is going to be timely. Hard to believe we're into September next week or later this week.
Years flying by.
Back to school. Summer is kind of dwindling down. And yeah. But you know what that also means?
What? Busy fall season.
Exactly. Anyway. Assignment sales. There's lots to talk about.
We're looking forward to it.
Bye.
Ciao. Thanks for watching episode 250. We'd love your feedback on what you do consider as acceptable and not acceptable behavior at open houses and showings. And if you have any fun stories for us, drop a comment.